Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario is The Burning Stars. It was written by David Conyers, and it can be found in Terrors from Beyond. Our game master is Matthew Sanderson, and this is episode 2. Our recap will be given by Holly Butow as her character, Amy Lachlan. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Holly?
Things aren't making any sense, and I'm scared. The last thing I remember doing is going to sleep in my apartment in New York, and then I wake up weeks later in a hospital in Haiti. At least there are some familiar faces here. Donna Sterling and her family, and 2 detectives that were probably hired to find Jack Sterling. We were found on the outskirts of town 2 days ago, and strangely, the night before we were brought to the hospital, some locals allegedly found the murdered bodies of some Americans in the same area, although those bodies are now missing. Could that have something to do with us? We all have vague memories of something terrible happening, but when we get close to figuring out exactly what it was, everything goes black and we're left trying to rebuild our memories again. A Sisyphean struggle we've done 8 times already, apparently. No one in the hospital was helpful. Everyone gave us confused looks when we talked to them, and an orderly was scared away from us, crying out that we'd been marked by Baron Lacroix, the voodoo master of the dead. We were finally released after Mr. Sterling used his military connections, but there wasn't much comfort to be found in our hotel, as our rooms had obviously been searched since we'd left them. We found a tarot card left in the bathroom, Mr. Sterling's room, with the likeness of Baron Lacroix on it. When he looked at it, he went very pale, and I thought I heard him mutter the word Nyarlathotep before dropping it. I don't know.
Indeed, that rather infamous word that comes from that big gaping abyss in the memory. Something evidently sparked for a moment, but yeah, that tarot card just lies on the floor in the middle of the room. And yep, you are indeed in Sterling and O'Neill's room, evidently searched. You've got this shipping manifest blatantly lying to your face, telling you that there is this shipment of farming goods or farming machinery that's come from a place you evidently know makes munitions. So, what do you want to do next?
I think we'd resolved that we were going to check the other rooms.
Check the other rooms, yeah.
Okay, which room do you want to do next?
No, mine and Donna's are right next door, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you can head there. Are you going as a group or are you splitting up?
I don't want to be alone.
Yeah. Me neither.
I'll go. I think we should all stick together.
Yeah, I think we want as many eyes on each thing as we can get to start with.
Okay, so in which case you'll head outside, go down the corridor a short way to the next door. You've got a key, so getting in isn't a problem. Inside, it's very much the same layout as the room that you've just come from. So you've got the interior, the main body of the room is 2 beds. Got a bedside table between them, windows on the far side, and then an adjoining bathroom. You can all give me spot hidden rolls as you go inside. Good. More eyes on the job, the better.
I rolled an 8, so
Yeah, I got a 10.
Regular
got a
success.
17.
Regular.
To regular for me.
Okay. Because you've all seen it before, there's no need to get anything beyond a regular. This room is also showing the telltale signs of having been searched. Otherwise, going through bags and such that are left here, you will find your passports for Amy and Donna. Likewise, you, James and trying to remember the guy's name, Sean. You'll find your passports in the previous room where you've already been having searched. Right. But there's nothing otherwise that seems to be either incriminating or stands out as being anything odd in here. it's very much just you have your regular equipment that you would bring with you. So like Amy's got maybe a typewriter or plenty of notebooks and such. Donna's maybe got plenty of reading material that she's brought with her. But again, nothing really strikes you as being out of the ordinary here. And then presumably you're going to the last room.
Right.
Okay. Again, you can give me spot hiddens in there as well.
It was probably just fellas checking our stuff. I
Ooh,
got
an
an
extreme success.
07 extreme. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
I see Amy. She sees me.
The two that got the extreme, or did anyone any advance on two with extremes? Just
I
Sean
failed.
and Amy?
I failed.
Regular for me.
Negative.
I failed as well, I'm afraid.
Okay, so James, Donna, and Guy. The thing that probably is forefront in your mind is again looking for signs of the room being turned over. So that's kind of what you're occupied by. And even with a failure, because you've seen it twice over, you do spot the fact that it is there as well. But that's pretty much all that kind of blanks you out, really, is just seeing that. Dirk, as you're looking through your both yours and Guy's luggage, you find some helpful stuff in there. There's obviously amongst the clothes and toiletries, you find a set of lockpicks in there, which is going to potentially be helpful for you. Boxes with about 50 odd rounds of ammunition for the .45 revolver and the .38 automatics that you've found downstairs in the box behind the reception desk that you got brought out for you. There's also broken down between your two luggage bags what appears to be a 12 gauge pump action shotgun. But you'd need to put it back together. The scenario does say there's a role for it, but I don't think that's particularly, it's not going to add anything if you fail it. So yeah, you can put it together as and when you want to. It's just going to take a few minutes to do so. However, between Amy and Sean, you're going through a couple of the drawers in that kind of bedside cabinet, and you both come across, pretty much at the same time, what looks to be a matchbox with the imprint of a New York speakeasy called the Sugar Cane at 5th Avenue and West 35th Street.
Yeah.
If either one of you want to pick it up?
Yeah, I'll pick it up.
Okay, it feels light, so as if it's got a matchbox with no matches in it, but something's in there, and as you pick it up, you feel it shift inside.
Okay. I'm gonna, without opening, I'm gonna hold it up and listen.
It doesn't make any noise, but if you tilt it or move it, something moves in there.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure there's not like a booby trap scorpion or something in there that's, I'd hear him.
Far too small.
Okay.
Now, whatever's shifting is only moving because of the way you angle the box.
All right. So I shake it a little, and I look over at Dirk, and I say, something private?
I assume, Matthew, that I don't recognize this matchbox.
You'd recognize the speakeasy as somewhere that you've been previously, but you don't recall anything specific about it.
As far as I know, it'd just be matches.
All right. Well, I'm then going to hold it, and push the thing open a little bit carefully.
Okay. There is definitely something in there. Something that's not quite crammed in there, but definitely is sat in there quite comfortably and cozily. It's also not moving, so when you open it, it's not like it jumps out at you.
Okay. I'll push the matchbox through, and I'll empty it into my hand.
Okay. You are holding what appears to be a dead moth.
What the fuck? A dead moth? An insect? Is it something you trapped because it annoyed the hell out of you and you let it starve to death? Or
As you know, Mr. O'Neill, I was when we first found that card in the other room, I thought we should all check to see if anything was missing from our luggage, but we wouldn't know since we don't remember even coming down here. So that's, are there any markings on it? Is it, there's that famous death's head moth.
Well, I don't know what that looks like. I'm not much of an entomologist. Here, you're the guy, but take it into your hands. I gotta go wash my hands now.
Yeah, if you were perhaps an entomologist, The likely effect comes in play. Suddenly a matchbox appears from nowhere. If you were maybe a entomologist or have some degree of natural world, you might be able to identify it. But otherwise, to a layman, it looks like a big moth. I mean, it's a bit furry. It's got a big body to it. The wings have been kind of folded back in on themselves to fit in the box, hence it fitting quite snugly in there. But otherwise, there's no distinguishing features. It's not like it's got an ominous skull on the back.
Kind of brownish gray.
Yeah. Well, maybe gray to black.
Okay.
It's a little big for something that I would have caught in New York, though. It seems more like a tropical size.
This is indeed from local territory. This is not from New York.
Well, maybe we put it back in there and show it to somebody.
Yeah, this could be something maybe to do with the medium that we...
Didn't we have a list of contact information for a few people in here?
Yeah, there's a medium, and I think
an anthropologist, maybe? Or
an anthropologist.
Do you want the list of names handout just to refresh your...
Yeah,
Sure.
It's a tarot reader and I think an anthropologist.
And
Although neither one of those would help us with the moth unless...
And the cult was something... Yeah,
the moth on a tarot card?
Not a normal one.
I can think of.
All right, so it's Marie Jerome, the tarot reader.
Dr. Bruce.
She's in Bel Air. Northeast is the anthropologist, and he's in Paco.
And there's the library, I guess, if we really wanted to know, but...
Maybe what you got there is the floating horror.
Yeah, right?
Flapping horror, kind of.
It comes at you and you turn on the lights and it completely goes up to the light instead of towards you. So I'm actually going in the bathroom and washing my hands. So just in case you want to throw something at me.
Nope. No, this bathroom is safe. It was just the one in Sterling's and O'Neill's room where there was stuff to find.
Anyone else find anything interesting? I was kind of hoping for a diamond, big fat diamond in that box.
I mean, there is some other stuff in the room which is part of the mundane equipment that's here. There's flashlights, hiking boots, a Remington typewriter, paper for preparing reports, rucksacks for hiking. So it does seem as though this is where most of your outdoor equipment ended up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense it'd be with us. On top of the 6 handguns, this shotgun, we came down here loaded for bear. Whatever you believed Jack was caught up in, you thought we were going to need firepower. But we didn't take any of it with us. We went out into the jungle.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense because I don't even go to the toilet without my gun in my pocket.
Unless we were abducted and taken out into the jungle.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that we got drugged here and then we didn't go out on an expedition, but we were... I mean, it's a nice enough hotel. I think that if they carried us out on stretchers, it would attract attention.
And if we were carrying this much firepower, we must have thought that there was some pretty powerful opposition out here. Some sort of gang that might have kidnapped Jack.
I do remember that my son is in mortal danger. That's just the only thing that I can remember.
Is there a ransom or something?
Mr. Sterling, you think that that's directly connected to his business activity here or something tangential maybe?
O'Neill, maybe we should try and get in touch with Sebastian Senegal. Now, I don't think I should be seen with him in public, but he might be able to find out what's going on. He's one of our clients down here. My clients down here.
Is he, do you know offhand if he is a Labadie importer and export, or is he a different contact?
Matt, would I know that?
Details for you are hazy on that front.
Right.
In fact, give me an idea roll.
79 out of 90.
You're fairly sure there is some kind of connection between the two, but you can't put your finger on whether it's a direct connection or not.
I think he would be the man who would know stuff on the street level at least. But
Of course, he could also be the same guy that did this to us. Who knows?
possibly.
We're
But
not going to be leaving the building without firearms this time.
No.
Is there, once the shotgun was recomposed, is there anything in our baggage that would make a useful way to carry it in a concealed way? A suitably padded rucksack or...
So you've probably got a rucksack that you could carry it in. It'd be quite a long rucksack, not one that would immediately attract attention like walking around with a violin case, kind of ominous. But yeah, you could probably get away with carrying it around in one of them.
So, ladies, Mr. Sterling, Mr. Brian, Neil, I'd like to wash that hospital off and put on a less sweaty shirt that hasn't been laundered. What do you say we have, we take a half an hour, we think about what order we want to check some of these places out and see what we can find a match for.
Come on, Mr. Sterling, let's get you cleaned up.
when I'm alone with O'Neill,
Yeah.
You know that naval officer?
Yes, the naval officer, yeah.
We're going to have to keep an eye out for him or anybody following us. They're on to our hills. And,
Well, I mean, 90% chance. I mean, he's just a naval officer. We've scattered around them for years.
yeah, they were in our room. They saw the shipping manifests. That's why they were keeping us there. They wanted me to say something in my haze.
Well, the thing is, you're a businessman. Everything that we've done is legit. I mean,
course
some
it
people
is.
might consider it unethical, but we haven't broken any laws.
Exactly. But we need to
Speaking
keep an eye out for him. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, speaking about that, you can actually, if you're having a conversation along this line, you can give me a law roll.
I got a 10.
I got a 50 out of 50.
So my 10 is actually a hard.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there's this moment where you think, is that the case? And then both of you, it's like the penny drops. It is not illegal for you to send weapons from the US to Haiti, but it is illegal in Haiti for you to receive them if you haven't got the correct paperwork and permits. So you might be committing a local violation of the law, but not from the Americas.
Right. So us being here puts us in some jeopardy.
Well, nothing's going to stop me from finding my son.
Why would we bring all this firepower? I wonder if we can ask around and see who the local drug lord is or something that we would bring so much firepower to.
I'm thinking that's Sebastian Senegal.
You know, we've avoided meeting him directly for a long time, but I suppose it's a possibility.
I think I'm going to need to get a wire some more money down here. We're going to have to grease some palms. I only have 300 in cash.
I wonder how they do that this day and age.
Also, another bit of info for you here. A bit on the local currency and the exchange rate. You have pretty much a 5-to-1 exchange rate. The local major denomination in currency is the gourd, of which $1 equals 5 gourd. And then 1 gourd is divided into 100 centimes.
But
So
they
kind of
would
a bit like
gladly
franc.
take American money, correctly?
Oh, they'll take American money, definitely, because of its value. And because you have an American occupation here, it's widely accepted.
Right.
So you can almost get away with using the dual currency.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure your credit's good. I don't know. I don't know if they've got a local bank of Haiti or, you can let me take care of that. You don't have to
Yeah.
rest. It's been a crazy.
When we meet up with the rest of the fellows, just order room service enough for all of us to eat, and we'll eat while we go over our plans. I'm gonna have a lie down.
All right, have a lie down. I'll do that, and then I'm gonna take a walk downstairs. I'll knock on everyone's door and tell them that I'm ordering room service. So that's what I do. Hey guys, we're getting room service.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Something to eat. And then I'm gonna go downstairs, order room service for the 6 of us, and then go out, see if I can find myself a white shirt, because my other white shirt got stained, and then of course all that I can find is this.
Yeah. All right, we'll just hide the blood later. Right, I think there's the only real place that kind of comes to mind if you're looking to do monetary transfers here is going to be the US Embassy. There isn't really any major banking facility. Remember, this is what in modern terms would be called a third world country, and it's also one of the poorest countries in the world as well. So the main route you're going to want to do that kind of monetary endeavor is going to be the embassy.
All right, so I'll head over to the embassy.
Okay, so this is after you've got food and got laundry and such. Okay, so you're heading out on your own?
Yeah.
What's everyone else doing?
I'm going to wait for Kessler to finish in the bathroom, and then I'm going to avail myself of the facilities.
Yep, no problem. Nothing happens. Nothing crazy happens to Dirk in the shower on his own.
Good to know. And in those circumstances, again, there's I don't even see the hint of the bruises or scratches or cuts that we supposedly received. I look just fine.
If you have a good look over yourself, now that you really get to strip down, clean up, on a cursory examination, as you were fairly sure there was nothing the last time you looked over, but maybe if you spend a little bit longer in the shower or the bath, as your skin starts to shrivel up and slowly become a bit more bloated, you are catching signs that there is something here that it's very much it's almost healed up, but there are telltale signs that you've got scratches on particularly at the tips of your fingers, bits of where the nail's been broken, and they've evidently as they said, they filed it down to stop you from injuring yourself in the hospital. There are telltale signs now that yes, you were hurt, but it was all completely superficial.
All right. So it's consistent with the story that we have been led to believe.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. And as I turn the steamy room over to Randall, like everything isn't steamy, I'm going to put together the shotgun so that it's at the ready if we decide that it's time to take it out.
Yeah, it takes you about probably 5-10 minutes to get the components together, like the screws, get your screwdriver when you find it out of the kit. So just at a leisurely pace, you're able to put it together within a few minutes.
And as I go through my stuff, everything suggests that I packed these bags, right? There's nothing that it's like somebody threw stuff in a bag that was for me. Like I always put the comb behind the shaving kit over here, and it's in the right place, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, definitely your bag you would know the ins and outs of because you've traveled enough with your background. You've been all over the world. Everything is here that you would expect to be here.
Okay.
It's not like anything is missing or anything's being put back in a wrong place. It definitely feels right to you.
Okay. Yeah, which makes the absence of memory a little scarier, but it also makes me feel like at least at some point I knew what I was doing here.
Indeed. Right. Over in the next room, Amy and Donna, anything happening in there?
I just want to go through my things and see if there's any hint as to why I thought I needed to be in Haiti. Like any notes, anything aside from clothes and personal items.
Okay. That is very much almost as there's a distinct absence of anything. It's almost as if anything that would have been related to that has been removed.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
And Donna?
I guess I'll just maybe look through my books and take a moment and do some reading and see if there's anything that might let me know why we thought we needed an anthropologist on our context list. If there's anything, any interesting, local anthropology stuff that I might have in my books, just sort of look through that for now.
I'd say this could be potentially, this is a way that might give you some insight into doing research in the area.
Right.
You can give me your choice of either anthropology or idea.
Okay. I'll do, yeah. Which one's right? Or
no, KNOW.
Okay, no, right. So I'll do no. That's a little better. Sorry. So that is no. I failed.
Okay. There's nothing here, but you get this kind of nagging feeling at the back of your mind that at some point you have done some research and you have been and read through some books, and maybe that reference to there being the library in that list of names might be where you did it, but again, it's just hazy.
Okay, interesting. Thank you.
All right, and lastly then, Mr. Sterling, anything that you're doing while you're waiting for Sean to get back?
Well, I will also go through my stuff just to have a look through, see if I hid something from myself and don't remember.
Yeah, you go through all of your stuff. You're probably not the kind of person to pack your own bags, but give detailed instructions on how to pack the bags, so you'd know where things would be in there. But again, there's just nothing. It seems like this is a very practical expedition for you that you've gone on. That there just seems to be nothing that gives you a hint as to what's happened to Jack, what these feelings you're having connected with him. It's just, you're just drawing a blank, and if anything, it's quite frustrating.
So after that, I'll just lay down and try and replay my last memory of New York, my first memory here, and see if I can try and bridge. That's all.
No problem. Again, you're going to be running into exercises into frustration as you start to concentrate harder and harder, and it's almost as if the more you try and reach out and grab it, the further away it gets. You can give me a psychology roll.
Oh, good. 17 out of, I'm just shy of an extreme.
Okay. Yeah, again, you get maybe recalling some of the stuff that the doctor, Dr. Allen in the hospital was saying, that this is almost some kind of defensive mechanism, that something really horrible must have happened to you in these last few weeks, that just recalling it is potentially dangerous at this point. But maybe when the time is right, or maybe when you're unlucky enough to go and finally grab it, that will be not so great when it happens.
Now, on the inside, I'm going into a slight panic, thinking, did I see my son get killed? But on the outside, it's stone. But in the back of my head, I'm thinking, did I see him die? Did I see him die? Is that why I forgot everything?
Because you got an extreme, or very close to an extreme, I'll give you a bit of a hint on that. You're fairly sure that's not what you saw. Your son is still alive. You're fairly sure of that. Or at least he was the last time that you saw him.
Good. That gives me a little bit of an inner peace and like a fire to find him.
And at this point, I think we've done everyone in the hotel. We'll go back to Sean.
He stepped away for 1 minute.
Yeah, commercial break.
A brief word about tourism in Haiti.
Right? Yeah.
It's fantastic.
In fact, actually, that's something I can go over because we got the message in the chat that you can hear us. Yeah, while walking through Haiti, on the plus side, you're in a fairly, what would be considered a slightly upper class area of a fairly third world country capital. There are plenty of people, as we mentioned on the ride over to the hotel. People out and about here are openly brandishing weaponry. This is a place where it's not quite like the Wild West, but it's got a similar kind of vibe. It's people openly carry because this is a dangerous place. And it's a way of saying, don't mess with me. I've got a gun. I don't mind blowing your face off. And that's the kind of atmosphere that you have walking down the street. Now, as someone very astutely pointed out to you in upstairs in your room, to have a look around and make sure whether the Navy or the military are following you, Sean can give me a spot hidden roll if you are keeping an eye out for that.
All right. 37. Let's see how that did. 37 out of 60. I'll actually even spend 7 luck to make it a hard.
Regular is fine.
All right.
You do indeed notice that you are being followed. There's a couple of, mainly because they stick out like a sore thumb, a couple of white men in an otherwise almost completely black crowd that they're just walking down the sidewalk, admittedly on the other side of the street, but they are walking in your direction, and you do lock eyes at least once before they then just happen to look around and make sure they're not looking directly at you, but they're following you.
All right. They're dressed like civilians or in military outfits?
Oh, they're very much dressed like civilians. They're not.
Okay.
They're not stupid in that respect. They're just not great at following you.
All right. So, can we assume at this point, have I gotten to the embassy yet, or?
You can be about probably 2 streets away from the hotel, so maybe about a 10-15 minute walk away from the embassy.
Okay, so I'm still walking towards the embassy,
Mm-hmm.
and if there's people selling shirts, something in red.
Funnily enough, it's quite a popular color.
Yeah. I don't think that I'll interfere in them. I'll just let them follow me.
Okay. Yep. In which case, they keep their distance. They very much don't come up to you. They don't get too close at all, and you get to the embassy without any difficulty whatsoever.
Okay.
So, what do you want to do inside?
Well, I probably have some sort of credentials for sterling that I'll see if I can get like $1,000.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're going to try and do it on basically using his ID, but without being him.
Right. Doing business for him. Actually, that seems like maybe a bit of overkill because this is 1930, right?
That is an exceptionally high amount of money.
Yeah, no. How much did you say you had sterling? 300?
300. $1 in 1930 would be equivalent to $15.75 today.
I'll get another 200 out so that he's got a solid 500.
Okay. Give me a luck roll.
Maybe we might want to buy a hotel. Let's see. That is not a pass.
Okay. You speak to a nice young girl inside. It's almost like an admin clerk in a sense. She takes thorough details from you. Says, "Okay, we'll put through the request. Obviously, as you're probably appreciative of having done business here before, this may take a couple of days to come through, but we'll certainly let you know when it comes in." So that they ask for contact details, but it was essentially, A, do you give them your contact details at the hotel, and B, this is going to take time.
I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to say, well, you should already have our details. Haven't we taken money out here before? bluff to see if there's records.
She has looked through some records. She basically pulls out a few ledgers. It seems like she's mainly the main point of contact for doing monetary transfers. And having a look through, she said, "No, we've not got any record of you asking for a money transfer from here."
Oh, all right. Well, here's our contact information at the hotel. I forget the name of the hotel, but we were at that hotel.
Hotel Olofsson.
Okay, yeah, that one. And the room number, and thank you very much. And I'll leave, and I'll buy a shirt. I'll go back.
No worries. When you head outside, the two guys that were following you are gone. But as you're moving back down the street, are you taking the same way back that you did getting here, or are you taking a different route back?
I think I'm taking the same route back. I do have my guns, so.
Again, showing nice and proudly and out in the open.
I've got a, whatever you call that one.
Holster.
Like a holster.
Yeah.
Okay, as you're taking the route back, you realize that there's a lot of people watching you. You can see that there are people passing on the street, which, as you pass them, their eyes just follow you as you walk around. Some of them, they even like stop and turn to look at you. Their eyes sort of open wide, and this almost neutral expression on their face. You see as you're passing by dark doors that lead into buildings where there's just darkness beyond them, you can see eyes being reflected from the light outside, and just the hint of people's faces looking back out of you. A couple of dogs snarl as they pass by you in the street, and then start to yap.
I'm starting to notice more and more people staring at me. I'll just move a little faster down towards the hotel.
Okay. As you start to move back towards the hotel, maybe just absent-mindedly, you put your hand into your pocket to make sure is my wallet still there, no one's pickpocketed by you, and your hand touches something wet.
Fuck. Pull it out.
And you look down, and first of all, you just notice that your shirt, it's maybe a slightly deeper shade of red, and it's in patches all over you. And your hand, when it comes out, is completely drenched in blood. There are little bits of paper. What at first glance looks like some kind of paperwork has been shredded, and it's just your pockets are full of this mangle of blood and paper.
Throwing it on the ground. Is there blood all over my shirt?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to run for the hotel.
Okay. First of all, you can give me a sanity check for realizing you are pretty much completely covered in blood.
I got an O2.
Okay,
You
bizarrely,
chose to wear red.
I said it'd be an appropriate color. Right. Also, as you're throwing down this kind of mangled heap of bits of paper onto the floor, you suddenly catch sight of what this bundle is that you're throwing down. It looks like your passport has been completely shredded, and almost blood is oozing out of it. It's just as it's laying on the ground.
What, dear God? Running, stumbling towards the hotel, forward, backward, kind of like, the hell's going on?
You start running, holding this gun, which is now holding slippery with your hand that is so slick of blood. Give me a spot hidden roll as you're running.
Okay. 73 is not fast, I don't believe. No. Yep, I don't see anything.
Okay. In which case, then, it's as you're passing by one of the shop fronts, maybe somewhere where you thought about looking for a shirt previously on your way up here. You think for a moment you see something in the mirror, or the kind of mirrored reflection of the glass, and then you're back in the hotel. you're just sitting down there with the rest of everyone, sitting down in front of a table, finishing up. And you can give me another check, please.
I'm sorry, what was that? What sanity check? 94. Yeah. What the fuck?
That'd be a D4, please.
Does he have blood on him?
No, not at all. You're all just sat down in the as you've ordered room service. You've got a table that you've put. Oh, there you go. Not quite enough to drive you nuts at the minute. You've got a table that's been set up, probably in Sterling and O'Neill's room, where you're sat down communally, just having this nice kind of evening-ish meal, and all of a sudden, yeah, he's there.
Sterling, and I pushed the gun away from anybody at the table.
What the fuck?
Are you okay?
Mr. O'Neill, you all right there?
I'm going to reach out and touch somebody.
They feel pretty solid.
What the fuck?
Your hand is completely dry now. There's no blood at all.
Keeper, how has Mr. O'Neill's manner been since he got back from his excursion?
You don't remember him getting back. In fact, you don't remember sitting down to dinner. This is all of you are bam at the table, but only he takes the sand hit.
Wait.
Why didn't you put the gun down? You're among friends.
I was just in the market. There was blood.
And I was just reading in my room, but it's all right, Mr. O'Neill. You can put the gun away.
O'Neill, please holster your weapon.
Yeah, it's just us. But it's still happening.
We must
Anybody remember anything?
Yeah, no.
I was in the shower.
I was sitting on my bed thinking about.
We gotta stop doing this.
Oh, my head hurts.
I was on my way back from the embassy, and
Oh no! What atrocity are you wearing?
This they didn't have any white shirts, so I figured, do as the Romans do, or the Haitians do, or
So
something is fucked up going on here.
You look like a tourist.
I didn't have any blood, but I do not remember sitting. I remember having this table brought into this room. Anybody got anything?
I don't know.
No, I just remember going through my things, but none of this.
So,
Still
check the
happening.
time. How long has it been since we?
That's right.
Since I left. Oh wait. I pull out the cash for Sterling. Do I still have it?
Well, you have the cash that you were given, but remember they said that the wiring would to get you more money
Oh,
here
that's
would
right.
take about a couple of days.
That's right. But did they give me a receipt?
Any paperwork with a
Or-
timestamp?
Yes, they
Timestamp.
would have done that.
All right.
Yeah.
Timestamp says such and such.
It would correspond if you were to look at the time when you got the stamp and then when you've got back here and what the time says on your watch now. You reckon you've only lost maybe about 10, 15 minutes at most.
Okay, so we lost somehow 10 or 15 minutes.
But all of us at the same time. That's what I don't get.
And
Same thing that happened before.
there were people, everyone was looking at me like I was some sort of red-shirted tourist.
Like you
or
were
something.
marked?
Like the orderly?
Like the orderly.
What else happened while you were out there?
I felt something wet in my pockets. I reached inside and my passport. Was my passport missing?
What?
If you tap yourself down, you find it in your pocket.
It's not shredded up.
No.
It
perfectly
was
normal.
it was my shredded passport. There was blood all over it. There was blood all over me. And I panicked and I started running for here. And then suddenly I'm here.
Okay. Things are very weird here. In case, and I take out some of the money and I hand $10 to each person at the table, in case you get separated, take a cab directly to the hotel, bribe your way out of it, pay off somebody. You need to be don't split up, but in case you need to.
Somebody's put some sort of juju on us, I think.
That's the thing. I didn't, have any experience that I remember of being seen or bloodied. But why would you, having a memory that freaked you out, affect me psychologically? When we were all in the same room, I could see, and they ask us questions, and somebody says, I saw whatever the nightmare was.
Could it be that I made it back and then I said something to y'all and it triggered a blackout?
That's what I was going to
Maybe if you looked like you were covered in blood, it was triggering to us, Dirk, didn't you say you had memories of people being like torn apart?
Not memories. You couldn't say memories.
A dream?
I feel like the bad thing had people being rent. Yeah.
Maybe seeing O'Neill like that was.
But then who tipped the busboy for bringing us sandwiches? Who got the table?
We did. Maybe we did. Then Sean comes in. We see him in that state. And that kind of like
15,
snap. It
minutes.
makes us think about that, and we're all back to.
Except he looks fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't.
It's also we've got a trace on us. I'm pretty sure it's some white guys from the Navy.
Oh sure. And I's going to be following us left and right.
I just think that the best plan would be to act normal. We are normal. We didn't murder anybody.
And if we need to get away from them, I'll give you a couple singles. Hand out some money to a group of men and tell them to distract them while we walk away.
Yeah. Downtown, it shouldn't be. The streets are pretty chaotic, and if we go in a vehicle, who knows how hard it'll be to get a vehicle, whatever, depending on where we go. But I don't know where we go anyway.
I wonder if we could go to the newspaper and talk to the person who wrote that report about the Americans being found and such, and see if they would reveal their source.
That's very
I work for a newspaper. Sometimes money greases the right palms. You can find someone who's willing to tell you something.
I like that. And also, the day's getting away from us, and I don't know if we're going to find an anthropologist, but the newspaper people have to work well into the night, right, to get the next day out.
Sure, yeah.
We should ask the tarot card person too. Maybe they could. We don't need to tell them exactly what's going on with us, but maybe if we describe some of the, I don't know.
I think it's going to be very likely if you visit any of these people, they're going to say, "Oh, what are you doing back?" And we don't remember the first time. I wanted to check my gun and make sure I hadn't discharged it.
All the bullets present and correct. Even giving the barrel a sniff, it does not appear that it has been fired in a while. I think I need a sand check after that.
Honestly, while I'm curious about what a card reader had to say, especially about that non-standard looking death card, also, those people are all criminals. It's a racket. So I am less likely to trust somebody in that industry than college type or a newspaper person.
If there's some sort of crazy cult, maybe we asked her if she knew something about them.
Yeah,
so she must be a connection.
Remember that orderly. If you show that card to someone, if it's a real thing that people are scared of, no one here is going to tell you about that.
We also,
we're outsiders. We're not.
We could put a little pressure on her.
Well, we also wrote some things down in our notes. It looked like we'd mentioned the library and then maybe some research points. Like maybe we were looking into something. And
we're definitely looking into something.
So if we go back and look into those points that we wrote down and look back into those, maybe we can get somewhere.
Right. It's just there's no way of knowing if we wrote this person's name, if we wrote these people's names down to talk to them, or if we already talked to them.
Well, but we also wrote down the library and like 3 search terms.
Maybe we could
That's a
find
good
out
lead.
what books we. I'm sorry, Mick. What we checked out.
Having
Well,
gone
that
through
was
all
it.
your stuff, it doesn't appear that you've checked anything out.
I'm sorry. Say what you just said again, Matt.
Having gone through all your stuff, it doesn't appear that you've checked anything out of the library, but you've almost certainly gone there, and it's a research library basically. They're not like a lending library.
Well,
Right, but maybe they write down the books and bring them to you, and there might be a list like that.
it's possible we could have left them with instructions on looking for something for us, and we just don't know that. I mean, it's reasonable to believe that not everybody we've met here is hostile. It's just the one that we did meet that's hostile that we have to worry about.
I suppose we could. It sounds to me like a good idea to retrace our steps, but I wonder. It's just something the doctor said, in that when we were in the hospital, it just, if we're retracing our steps and going back and visiting the library and following all these leads, I just can't help but wonder how many times we might have done this already.
But if Amy takes notes during this whole thing, we might have something solid that we could look back up.
Amy, have
Maybe
you-
nothing. I think we should go to a stationery shop as soon as we leave the hotel, and each of us gets a notebook, and we start writing every goddamn
That's a good
thing we
idea.
do down. Sorry, ladies.
I every time we black out, I have no notes, but I agree it's a good idea for all of us to be taking notes.
Every half an hour, each idiot one of us says, this ham sandwich is pretty tasty, and I don't know what the hell Sean's talking about, and then we have something to look at afterwards. Unless we're not blacking out, but jumping through time. Sorry,
Ah.
I read weird tales.
What?
Nah,
you got to stop reading that H.G. Wells stuff.
you know, they're cheap. When I'm waiting outside some dame's apartment to take photographs, I flip through the weird tales.
Wait,
But
how do
I
I
still-
know? How do I know that you read H.G. Wells? That just came out of the back of my head.
It's not. I mean, everybody reads Sherlock Holmes stories too, right?
I suppose you're the detective, you would know that. But
Yeah.
most definitely, if we start retracing, the people that we come to will have seen us before, so we'll know then that we're retracing.
Right.
And I bet you that's why the naval guy let us go in the first place. He's hoping that we'll retrace our steps.
It's probably them that went through our rooms. They know.
Yeah, so they've already
Yeah.
read the sheets, the papers.
No, I think they're looking to figure out what happened to us in the jungle, and they're not worried about what we did in town.
Everyone can give me an idea roll, because you have hit on something that you might not have put together yet.
25.
294s tonight.
21.
You're getting them out the way. You'll get some good
Yeah,
ones.
right? There you
Oh,
go.
that's a hard.
Regular success.
Regular also.
Okay. In which case, Guy, you remember back to what Dr. Allen said in the hospital, that you'd had this conversation 8 times over. What he was getting at was that he had that conversation 8 times over, but he was trying to get to a point where you could remember having had it at least one other time before, because he would be using that as evidence to Medwin to say, right, the guys are actually starting to show some kind of improvement. We can let them out now and see, basically let them back out of the hospital and go and try and retrace their steps. So do you think this is the first time you've actually got out of the hospital? Because this, when everything started, was the first time you could remember anything on an ongoing basis, but you know you still have blackouts since then. But there was something that he also said to you in response to one of your questions to him, that he deliberately stated, according to your passports, you got into the country 7 days ago. You found your passports in your rooms. Therefore, you can put two and two together and say that, yes, the ONI have been the ones that came in here and searched your rooms. They found your passports, got the stamps, and that's the connection you make.
Ah.
What time is it?
It's probably going to be late afternoon by this point, given all the stuff you've done. So it's getting dark out there.
Does the heat break at all?
It goes down a little bit. There's, in fact, a little bit on the temperature and climate here. So your temperatures vary between 34 to 30 degrees centigrade. So that's 95 Fahrenheit to 85 Fahrenheit throughout the year. It rarely goes below 20 degrees Celsius or 65 degrees Fahrenheit in the evening. So it dips a little bit, but it's still pretty damn hot.
And the humidity is probably awful.
You're pretty much on the coast, so yeah, it's going to be high 90s, 100% all the time. So you're just drenched whenever you go outside, pretty much.
So at this point, the anthropologist in the library are probably not going to be in office, whereas a tarot card reader probably stays open until 8, 9, or later. So that's one avenue we could start with.
Mm-hmm. Newspaper's bound to be open.
Newspaper office should be open too, because it's the next day. Mr. Sterling, do you think your friend Sebastian keeps business hours, or do you think he's an after hours kind of guy?
He's probably an all hours kind of guy. But with Sebastian, we need to meet him without the OSI knowing. I can't be seen with him.
I probably know how to contact him and set up a meeting because I'm your bodyguard. I'll set up a meeting if you want. So,
Is that a payphone kind of deal, Mr. O'Neill?
probably.
I wouldn't call from the hotel.
No,
I think we can assume that if we call from the hotel, it's someone's going to be listening in.
I'll take a short walk.
Not by yourself, you ain't. What say company? We lead our friends with the ONI on a merry journey off to see this Marie, the tarot card reader, and we bring along the special bathroom card, which might interest her independently of whatever conversation we've already had with her, probably.
All right. I'm game.
Okay, but I don't think she's going to take kindly to seeing that.
I'm not averse to upsetting her if it makes her spill the beans.
Oh yeah, I'm just concerned there might be someone waiting in the back room with a machete. But
Well, I've got a gun. So.
Yeah.
And maybe don't lead with the card. Get as much information as you can, then show the card in case
it's just a thought. But Mr. O'Neill, do you have a holster?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's my shirt. No, I've got a holster under my arm. I just don't have a holster.
It's just you're making me nervous waving that thing around.
It's just a BB gun. No, I'm just kidding. Don't worry about it. I know how to handle a gun.
I guess there's a point. Whichever one of us spoke to Madame Marie already, they probably didn't talk to, more than one person or two. It's not normal to get a reading for 6, right?
Yeah.
That's if we've already talked to her.
Right. If it's not a lead that we don't remember the cause of. Well, I move we go as a group. Mr. O'Neill, you can call your connection somewhere that the ONI is less likely to have bugged on the way. Mrs. Sterling and Lachlan, you might be actually the best people to send in to talk to a tarot reader without arousing any kind of suspicion if she doesn't already know who we are. A couple of
Yeah, happy to
American
talk
tourist
with her.
girls.
Yeah, sure. Be happy to talk to her.
Yeah, that's how I recommend we
Looking
move
for
Sterling.
a future husband.
All right, so I'm taking a 45. And I don't know, Guy, do you want the key to our room or shall I keep it?
Yeah, you keep it. I'll tag along.
And like I says, as soon as we hit the street, we
Getting
look
out
for a
of this place.
stationery shop and get little notebooks, one for each.
I'm not going to make a joke about mobile shops.
Then I won't laugh.
Okay, then we have an understanding.
So it sounds like Amy and Donna, you're going to the tarot readers, or unless I've misheard it, are you all going and then it's just you two going inside?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
The latter.
sounds good.
I think
The latter. So you're all going as a group.
Because we're hoping to draw some of the, as many of the, our followers as we can.
Gotcha. Okay.
We hit the street, we look for a stationery shop, which should be near a hotel in the nicer part of town. Everybody gets issued their own notebook. We go to the
We want to
tarot.
ask her about the tarot card, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to bring the tarot card with.
I have a feeling that's not going to go over well.
That's
We'll
what I
see.
suggest.
Oh, do we
Not
have
like she's going to be angry, just like she's going to recognize it and then maybe wonder how we got it.
Yeah, I don't think we lead with it.
No.
Do the rooms have like a convenience hotel map of Port-au-Prince in them?
We have a map of Port-au-Prince.
Yeah, you have a map already.
So is it a walking distance to this tarot reader, or is this a hired car situation?
Well, the city itself isn't particularly big, so you can walk around without too much effort, really, to go from.
And
one
if
place to
you're armed and attentive, then all right. Yeah, so we look for a stationery on the way to the tarot card shop. We keep an eye out for the federal intelligence officers.
Okay. Sterling had a question by the look of it as well.
Dirk, do I look like I walk anywhere? We're taking a hired car. Thank you.
Mr. Sterling, I'm not so sure that you should come along. You need to stay here where you're safe.
No, I don't want to be alone. And two, if there's any information from this charlatan voodoo person, I want to hear it with my own ears.
We can call down to the concierge desk and ask about a car, but I expect it's going to take more time as well as more money to get a vehicle through the streets with the blockades we saw and everything.
especially a vehicle that can take 6 people.
Where are we going? Let's find. We have a map. Let's
As
find a
long
map.
as you're all armed and I'm in the middle of the group.
Well, I was going to suggest that Mr. Sterling and I go out for the evening and we take up a position nearby where you're going. We just arrive there first, and that way we can keep an eye on you. I'm sure there'll be a cantina or a cafe or something.
Yeah, people
nearby.
probably drink their coffee and booze on the streets in this kind of temperatures.
Yeah. So we'll be right there when you guys arrive, and you do whatever you're going to do, and we'll be keeping an eye on you.
Right, here's the map to give you an idea of where things are again. So you started at the Elmwood Military Hospital over here, so on the eastern side of the city. And then you are down here at the Hotel Olafson. Bel Air is where the Tower Reader is. So you're going basically from the south to the north. So it's a fair hike. It's over 3 miles as per the scale down here. But as I said, that isn't too far to go if you wanted to do it on foot. Doing it by car would be quicker.
Is there a tram or an omnibus?
There aren't trams, but there are buses. So you could take public transport if you wanted.
I will pay for 2 cabs. Please. We're civilized men. We travel in style. And women.
So we'll take up a position opposite or nearby where we can keep an eye on you. And
Donnie, you remember when great grandfather talked about a bus?
What?
Yeah, exactly. We are Sterlings. We do not bus.
We have standards. Yeah.
what about that time that we were over there in oh, I'm sorry, you told me never to talk about that.
What happens in Thailand stays in Thailand. You know that, O'Neill.
Yeah.
Snake wine and everything.
I think you mean Siam.
Oh, yes, thank you.
No.
How much snake wine we had.
Siam is Sri Lanka. Isn't it?
That's Ceylon.
That's
Ceylon.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Siam. Oh, enormous country. Siam.
Can't people just keep the maps the same?
All right. So with 2 cars, it is all the way across town, and it's you know, it's real crotch rot hot here. Sorry, ladies.
Right. If you want to get 2 cabs, not a problem. You can go down to the concierge desk. Does anyone mention to them that you're planning on looking for a stationer's? Maybe getting an idea of where to go and get stuff locally might be an idea to cut time.
Yeah, I think that should be the first thing. It's not going to be over in Bel Air necessarily. It's going to be around here.
The concierge does, in which case, say that there are a couple of places he could recommend, but they won't be open at this point in time.
Oh.
But if you're looking for anything, the hotel does have stationery available. So if you were looking for anything in particular, he might be able to provide it for you.
Maybe we should just get a couple notepads and divide them between us. It seems like Miss Lachlan, you would be useful to have.
I already have one.
All right. All right. So maybe one for O'Neill and one for me or Guy. And then we have a little bit of coverage.
Yeah, I mean, he can easily get you like 3 or 4. They're just bog standard notepads, but again, also pens and pencils. And that's just a service the hotel can provide. You don't have to worry about paying for them.
Excellent. Yeah. And even little golf pencils that are pre-sharpened would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. Well, Mr. Sterling, you and I, we should leave soon. And we'll take up a position nearby.
Mm-hmm. Okay. In which case, 2 cabs pull up. You clamber on into them. And you head off across town. So not a problem. Doesn't take long, so it's only 3 miles. But again, the roads are fairly packed full of people. So you're negotiating around fairly light traffic, but more dense human traffic. And then likewise running into a couple of roadblocks as you go from one district to another. It's very familiar from the trip that you took from the military hospital down to the hotel in the first instance. At night, it doesn't seem to be that many people go in off the streets. There are still plenty of people out and about, even after dark. And it is, by the time you get to the address that you've got for the Tower Reader, it is after dark.
In terms of traveling in Port-au-Prince now, is this the sort of thing where we should have our passports on us for these roadblocks? Are we carrying passports as well as guns?
It helps to show that, yes, I'm an American citizen, and it does get to kind of grease the wheels a bit quicker if you do have your passports with you. Carrying weaponry out and about, the only thing that would cause you a problem at the minute out of the weaponry you've got is the shotgun. What are you doing with that?
I put that together in the hotel room, but we didn't plan to bring it as far as I know.
In which case, they have no problem with you carrying handguns. You can wear them openly. They do not care.
No, I think we're taking the shotgun when we go back into the hills. I don't expect to. I hope not to need to use it in town.
All right. Yep. In which case, then you're waved through a couple of roadblocks without any issue, especially when they see you're Americans and you're especially in a paid vehicle, and you get dropped off at 87 Rue Macajoa. I'm terrible on pronunciation of anything vaguely French. In Bel Air. The first thing that strikes you is that you have to look at the address to make sure you're in the right place because you've arrived at a bakery.
Open or closed?
It's open.
All right. Maybe, okay, so is there another place for O'Neill and Sterling to park nearby?
Yeah, we're going to be
Open
at the
business?
little cafe, the Hot Bois Violette, the Purple Oboe.
I inquire with the drivers how much it would be for them to just wait around for us.
They'll arrange, they'll negotiate a fairly nominal fee. If you're basically going to be kind of guaranteeing them another ride elsewhere, they'll wait around.
All right.
Well, are we in a busy area?
It's not busy, but it's not silent either. It's it seems like it's kind of almost a suburb in a way here. It's slightly more residential. I mean, you've got business addresses, but they're interspersed with private housing as well. But there's still people out and about, so it's not like it's ominously quiet here.
Right. So I'm just thinking if we're at a little cafe, the Hot Bois Violette, we might be here a couple of hours. You might as well just tell the guy to go, but we could probably, there's probably some people, it's nightlife.
The hotel called a reputable company, and we know sort of who we're dealing with. I don't mind a couple extra dollars too.
Well, let's put it this way to the GM. If there are other people at the cafe and it seems like the nightlife is so something, don't worry about it. Well, there'll be a cab station.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people out and about socializing, so there will be people at the cafe.
Yeah. So
are there cabs driving around though, or is it?
They're fairly.
Money is no object for Mr. Sterling, so maybe it's easiest if we just keep the guys we know.
I mean, there are cabs moving around, but traffic is fairly light. I won't put it down to a role. It's something that if you're looking out for it, you will probably get the trend over time. The only people that tend to be driving vehicles are the mulattoes, the mixed breed, of local and European, or the outright European class. So the upper echelons of society. They're the only people here that can afford vehicles. So they are the only people out and about driving them. And as a result, because they make up a relatively small portion of the population, you're not seeing that many vehicles. They do occasionally, one might go past, like another cab goes by, but it's not like constant streams of traffic. There are more people out on the streets than there are vehicles by a long, long way.
Okay.
Right. And there probably aren't that many proportionally cab riders. There's a lot of pedestrians, people who stay in their neighborhoods. So
yeah.
So why don't we tell our cab to come back in an hour and a half or so? I mean, I don't want to pay for him to sit here for an hour and a half.
Yeah, if you want to send them on their way, they'll circle back in. Yeah. Well, they'll say an hour, but it might depending on.
Nobody's in a hurry.
We hope. So, ladies, this is number 87. Maybe you get a pastry and ask for Madame Marie.
Sure. Yeah, I think that was the plan.
And Guy and I will try not to stick out too much.
Yeah, we'll give you some extra cash in case you need some bribing.
Sure. Yeah. And you guys will camp over there at the oboe. Sure.
The purple oboe, yeah. Very good.
Few decades that might have a weird connotation about it. Hey. Right. So Donna and Amy head on in.
Yep.
Okay. It looks like an ordinary bakery. There's people still selling stuff. It looks like they've got through a lot of the day's produce, so it's kind of not like the dregs of what's left, but it's just they're running low on stock. There's a counter, and there's a nice lady behind there that says, well, she opens up in something in what sounds like Creole rather than French. So unless you have Creole, you cannot understand what she's saying.
I know a little bit of French, so I'll try just pain au chocolat, s'il vous plaît.
Yep. In which case she nods, and she's got a couple left, so she will put them up on the counter, and it's in centimes. It's next to nothing in dollars.
Right. I'll put a little bit more than what the price is, and then ask Madame Marie.
Oh, yeah. And she gestures to a door at the back of the bakery. So behind one of the counters, there is a door with these like beads hanging, covering it, and just basically gestures to that door.
Merci. Donna, do you want to go in now? Do you want to wait a minute?
Maybe eat our pastry and then go in. Yeah, try
Sure.
casual. How's the pastry?
No, pastry's good.
I'd say it's been hours. I'm assuming it's not all that great anymore.
Yeah, it's maybe on the dry side, but
Right,
it's not bad.
All right, let's see what she says.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see if she yells, screams at us, and kicks us out.
In response to the private message, yep, no problem. As you head on through, at that point, the first thing that strikes you as your eyes adjust to the light is the sudden assault on your ears as there is as this cacophony of parrots that are hanging in cages from the ceiling all just suddenly start flapping their wings and squawking, almost like an alarm system, as it's, stranger comes in, and there's this whole menagerie of macaws, cockatoos, and all of the loudest screaming birds that you can think of are there to, in inverted commas, greet you. There's various, yeah. There's various bits of cane furniture in here as well. So there's plenty of places to sit down here. There's also what looks to be a table that's set up not quite in the middle of the room, but slightly pushed further back. Circular table with a nicely engraved pentagram in the middle of it. And as you're starting to get used to the light, it's candlelit in here, so it's a bit darker than the rest of the room outside. There's a doorway on the other side of the room, very similar, this hanging bead curtain that's pushed aside, and this lovely, you think probably she's in maybe her early to mid 30s. Black lady comes in, dressed, wearing gold jewelry. Say looks quite nice and friendly with a big smile on her face, and looks between you. Oh, you're back again.
Yes.
What did you change your mind and want a reading after all?
Yes, I think
Yes.
that would be lovely.
Oh well, I'm glad I could help. I take it, did your conversation turn out fairly enlightening?
Our conversation?
She kind of looks a little bit suddenly perplexed, but still the smile's there. Yeah, I mean, when we spoke last time, I recommended if you had any other questions to go and have a word with Dr. Northeast.
We haven't gotten a chance to yet.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it might be having a word with him. You might be a bit more open to such things, and that's why you wanted a reading finally. She said, "Please sit, please sit." And she gestures to a couple of chairs on the other side of the table.
Thank you.
So she pulls aside seems to be like a little tray under the table on her side. She pulls up a bundle of something which she puts on the table and unwraps it, and it's a tarot deck, which because it's a fairly popular deck even in the States, you'd recognize the Rider-Waite deck.
So it doesn't match the backing of the like the Baron Lacroix. Okay.
Oh no, very very much a normal deck.
Right. Okay.
Looks very well used, admittedly. She slides it across the table to put in front of you. Says, "I'll perform a five card read, which I think that's probably the easiest, and it feels right for you, I believe."
Excellent. Thank you.
If you'd like to cut and shuffle the deck, and think on it for a moment, and then as you're shuffling, voice aloud the query, what you want to get out of this, what's your intent.
I'll shuffle, and she said out loud, right?
Yeah.
What does my future hold? And I hand it back, cut it, hand it back to her.
She grins in that case, says, don't we all want to know what's coming? All right. She lays out 5 cards. They've got a white and blue motif on the back of each card. She just lays 5 of them out in a row, face down, and then gestures to each one in turn, going from left to right. So the first card represents your past. The second represents the present. The third card in the center will represent your future. The fourth card will represent an obstacle, something that might be in your way to achieving your future goal. And the fifth card, an indication of your outcome. So hopefully where things will be going. She flips the first card. Well, it's not quite as ominous as it might seem. It's I know a lot of people see that particular word and they get a little bit scared, but nothing to be worried about so much here. Although being inverted, it does have a particular meaning. This represents inertia or a lack of hope. I feel that this means that you've come to an impasse, almost perhaps having lost your mind and not knowing what to do. You've lost something important to you, haven't you? But I feel that you may have found a means by which you can cope with this loss. Am I right?
I don't think we're there yet.
Okay, let's have a look at the next card. The devil. However, inverted though, this can be good. This can be good. You've now got clarity and insight, and that your intellect wants to dominate your intuition and feelings. But she shakes her head and looks confused slightly. In one sense, intellect gives great power. In fact, you could say it gives you the spiritual energy of many, many people, more so than just the one. But if you trust your intuition and feelings, that energy and power could be lost. I don't quite know what to make of that. She turns the next card. So this is your future. And that the Hanged Man represents selfishness and egotism. If you're going to succeed in whatever it is that you've come here to do, you must ignore false prophets. You must let go of your fears and not be afraid to sacrifice, even self-sacrifice for the greater good. Are you looking for someone?
Yes.
Then this is the cause of your current predicament, looking for this person.
Yes, I think so.
And she looks up with what you think she'd be a fairly good poker player normally, but you can see that her poker face is starting to crack slightly, and you can see there is a look of concern in her eyes. You may have to let them go. I don't know in what sense, but if you're going to achieve what you've come here to accomplish, you're going to have to give up something. And maybe an obstacle. And she flips the fourth card. The Ten of Wands, also inverted. This isn't good. You face treachery and loss. You've deceived yourselves, but this deceit will bring about your downfall. That if you were to defeat whatever stands against you, whether it be an enemy, whether it be a problem, you must first come to terms with your own lies and the outcome. She turns over the fifth card, and seeing the Ten of Swords, she doesn't quite gasp, but she definitely has an intake of breath. Says this is troubling. To overcome this obstacle that faces you, you will feel pain and anguish, and you will reach an extremely low point in your affairs. However, I feel like the worst has already passed, and that great good can still be accomplished. But there will be a desertion. A desertion brings truth, and the truth opens the possibility for success. The way ahead of you is not easy. And so she looks up at the two of you. Says, I'm sorry that that isn't more brighter news. She shrugs. I can only read what the cards give me, unfortunately.
No, that's got it. You could, that's what it is.
Just kind of stare at her and Amy for a second strangely and look at her and say, no, thank you for the reading. This was insightful.
Mm. On a brighter note, what happened to your friend?
Which one?
The young gentleman you came in here with last time.
The young gentleman? Do you mean?
Yeah, the quiet guy, the kind of the good-looking one. She kind of smiles, or tries to suppress a smile slightly.
Do I think that they're talking about either of the three gentlemen or my dad?
I'm betting she's talking about James. Jack.
Yeah. I mean,
You mentioned losing someone.
Well, you haven't lost him as well, I hope. It was quite a nice looking young guy.
As well?
Well, I imagine you've come here looking for someone, and he was with you when you last came here. So unless you've lost another one, that's what I mean.
Right.
Wait, and I'll sort of roughly describe Jack. He was with us the last time we were here?
No, she shakes her head. No, is he?
Oh.
No, he was a bit, and she goes on to actually describe Guy Randall.
Oh, okay. That's what I was like. She's got to be describing one of them. Okay. Oh yeah, no, he's he's fine. Why do you ask about him?
Well, she kind of looks from side to side. He was a strong, silent type.
Well, I'll let him know you were asking, but thank you.
Oh, so he's okay though.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good to know. Good to know. Well, if there's anything else I can help with, or any other questions you had, then by all means. Hopefully, they might be a bit nicer than the cards. And she slowly scoops up the 5 cards.
Yeah,
in front.
about that. I kind of looked at Amy, who's got the card.
We found a card that seems interesting. I've never seen it in a tarot deck before, but it definitely looks like a tarot card. Could you look at it for us?
Oh, yeah, certainly. I know.
Yeah,
I know a
I'll
lot
hand
of,
her the card.
I know a lot of. And at that point, she just stops in her tracks, and then her eyes go wide, and she crosses herself, getting up from the chair and backing away from the table. Burn it.
What does it mean?
Burn it. That thing is wrong. That thing is evil. Burn it.
We will, but we're concerned. We feel like there's danger. What can we do?
That she just shakes her head and just looks back at it and crosses herself again. Don't touch it. Don't look at it. Not if you can help it. Just destroy it. That's better for everyone concerned.
Look, we have money. We can pay you for any services. Can you at least tell us what this means? We'll burn it. We'll destroy it. But we have to know what it means.
She scooped up the cards. She basically pulls the top 5 off the deck again as the ones that she showed you, and just goes back to the first card that she laid out, which was death, and shows. Was it also inverted?
Yes.
Just destroy it. That's wrong. That's something hiding as tarot. And is most certainly not tarot.
So,
as I said, nothing good will come of it.
Someone told us that we were marked. Is that something you can see? Do we look like we've been marked?
I'm no Mambo, but if you can find a Mambo, they might help you.
I don't suppose you have a name, do you?
I don't, but Northeast would.
Okay.
okay.
He's an anthropologist. He's been.
Right.
I told you this before, that the reason I suggested you go to see him in the first place was that he's someone that has been amongst the voodoo community. He's writing a paper, something he's been here nearly a year now working on that thing. But he would know where to send you. I'm out of my depth if I'm not even touching that thing.
Are we gonna find an inverted devil like this next? Is it gonna be the cards you laid out?
I wouldn't be surprised if there are more waiting for you. In fact, I would probably say I would bet on it. And I'm not normally a betting person.
Well, thank you for your help.
Yeah, we'll pay her nicely, like handsomely, not her regular rate.
Yeah, that's fine. She just says, leave it on the table. I'll collect it as soon as that thing's gone.
Okay, yeah, we'll take the card. I guess that's why the birds were screaming at us too when we came in.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll sorry, go ahead.
No, I was say otherwise she just waits on the other side of the table up against the wall waiting for you to go.
Right. All right. Well, we'll exit the shop and meet up with the guys.
Okay. Yep. You can meet up down the other end of the street at the Purple Oboe.
Mr. Sterling, yeah, there they are over there. Stop looking at that woman. She doesn't like you while looking at her. There they are.
While we were outside the bakery, did we see any Secret Service ONI types?
Thing that you, in fact, actually give me an idea roll before anything else.
37. It should be good. Yep.
You certainly don't spot anyone, and as mentioned, there's only occasionally a cab that goes past. Anyone that was the people that were following Sean. The only people that were following Sean were on foot. you lost Eddie Taylor a long time ago by going in a cab. And it doesn't seem like anyone's got chance to pull up a cab and follow you. So basically, you left, and if there was a tail, it's long gone.
That's good.
So while they've been inside, I've made a couple of entries in my new notepad. And I've also put in times, maybe every half hour for the next few pages as a sort of prompt, because I want to develop a process of remembering, on paper at least, what's going on. So, entry 1, car ride. Entry 2, bakery smells pretty good. Entry 3, Jesus, it's hot. And I've the next few pages are marked out.
Yeah, I mean, you can sit at the bar and we'll say the cafe rather. There's plenty of outdoor tables with a kind of nominal roof above you, and yeah, there's nothing that really strikes you as being out of the ordinary that happens here. There's definitely, it's not like your spidey sense is tingling that something's gone wrong. You can quite happily notice they're not in too long. So the conversation plays out pretty much in real time. And yeah, they come out probably within 15, 20 minutes and meet you back at the cafe.
Hello. We ordered you some coffee. I hope you like coffee.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So that could have gone better. Went about as expected. We also got a reading, which was just icing on the cake.
Lots of doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Just lots of warnings, inverted tarot cards about losing your mind, losing something close to you, the devil.
Yeah, it was death, devil, hangman, some wands, and then a bunch of swords and a
treachery.
Guy. Yeah. So.
Oh goodness, what did she say? We'll feel pain and anguish. There was going to be a desertion.
Well,
not a lot of sunshine.
Did she recognize you?
Yes. We came in there with Guy. Oh, by the way, Guy, you've got a fan. She was quite taken with you.
She asked about you.
Yeah. We went there with Guy a couple of days ago, according to her. And we refused a reading, and she referred us to Dr. Northeast.
Well, maybe we should see him.
Yeah, she said he's the voodoo expert. When we showed her that card, she basically told us to get out, burn it, get out. I don't want to see it. I don't want to touch it. And she said, talk to Dr. Northeast. We need a mambo. She said he knows all about the voodoo side of it, and she didn't want anything to do with it.
Did you pick it up with your hand, or did you use a handkerchief or something?
I mean, I just picked it up with my hand.
Hard, yeah.
She did predict that we would see the other tarot cards appearing in our rooms.
She would bet on it. She would bet on it.
Christ. I wonder if that's all Sterling, or if we're going to get him in turn.
If you don't mind me using a little bit of colorful language, I call bullshit. Somebody has erased our memory, and she and this Dr. Northeast and this Mambo and all this, they could be grifting us in some manner.
That's possible.
And she's just giving you the runaround with these freaking cards.
Good thinking, O'Neill. I concur.
I mean, I've done it before to people. I've grifted people. So it's just, everything's falling into place just too damn easy.
Right, except for the whole erase somebody else's memory part.
Well, these voodoo people have drugs that they...
So
I've been saying that all along.
So, but they continued to drug us in the hospital, and then when we left the hospital?
If the
Could
drug
still
was
be in
strong
our
enough,
system.
yeah, that it could still be effective.
I mean, I'm no pharmacologist, but the last time I had drugs in my system, I didn't feel sober for a couple hours, and then suddenly have the drugs start acting on me again.
It depends on the drug. You realize that they could give you the drug, and then you forget that you've been given the drug.
Right, but what I'm saying is, we wouldn't have these hours of soberness, and then whoosh, unless we got a re-injection or something.
we
if you
just
think
did.
about it though, the first time we remember losing time, aside from when we initially woke up, was when we were in the cab, right? And we just had coffee with the doctor. The second time we all lose time, O'Neill disappears and we're all eating food. What if someone's drugging us through the food and drink?
So you're saying that the drug erases our short-term memory as well as?
I mean,
because it just
they
doesn't.
could come walking in the room. We could all react. Who the hell are you? They could blow some powder in our face, and then we wake up 3 hours later and don't remember any of that.
It makes more sense to me than the idea of us all having amnesia in response to something we've seen or experienced, which is just too far-fetched. I mean, look, I used to be a beat cop in New York. I've seen some nasty things, and I've never lost as much as a second of my memory in response to anything I've seen.
Well, Donna and I got some pastries at the bakery, so if we have a lapse in time, it would just be the two of us. If it's all tied to food and these people are grifting us and we just went into her bakery, it would just be me and Donna.
I'm not saying that something like that is impossible, but so we're saying we're counting on the voodoo lady, the people from so the voodoo lady and possibly the bakery, the hospital and the Oni people, and the people at the hotel are all in on it to facilitate the drugging.
No, just someone who has intermittent access to us, or some group of people who have. Yeah. I mean, look, this is Haiti. If this is some voodoo thing, you don't know how many people they know. They could have people all over the place.
I tend to think the hotel and the Navy people are not in on it.
No,
but they keep collecting.
But an orderly or a waiter.
Look, the creep at the front desk
with something.
The creep at the front desk didn't give us our keys until we slipped him an extra $5, and then he gave us a box that had $300 in it. If they wanted to take $300, wouldn't that be easier than drugging us?
Yeah.
But $300 missing from a safe during a watch would ultimately put you out of work and possibly put you out of work on the entire island.
I think drugging Americans would also probably limit your future employment opportunities.
Yeah, but think of it this way. I mean, maybe, have you thought that maybe political groups might go to voodoo practitioners to get things sorted? I mean, if someone's got a grudge against Sterling politically, they might go to a local voodoo priest to get back at him and the people surrounding him. This could all be to just try and stop some deal happening, to make you forget that you were doing some deal. It might be any number of things.
Well, we'll find out when we speak to the Sebastian guy. Ms. Sterling, Ms. Lachlan.
But this is their country. If they wanted to slip us something, I'm sure they've got a laundry list of people they could call on to get near us and slip things in our food or blow things in our faces or whatever. I mean,
I tend to agree with Guy's rationale here. And you know what? At the end of the day, we need to get Jack the hell out of here. O'Neill will get back. I'll ship tons of crap down here and let them blow apart this goddamn island. I don't care. We get Jack or we get the hell out of here.
Look,
I'll quadruple my shipments at cost.
I think that we need to see this Dr. Northeast, knowing that he's part of the grifter thing. And I think that we should.
Be.
Well, here's my guess: if they blow something in your face, some sort of powder or chemical, there would have to be 6 of them to do it to us.
Right, and
Yeah.
And I mean, if it was what Guy's saying, I mean, if it was about a business deal, then honestly, they would just do it to James, and they would just take care of the loose ends. They wouldn't go through the trouble of changing all of our memory if they needed to just change a business deal.
Well, they must want us to go through the whatever deal it is, and then not remember that we did it, and that way there's no suspicion because 6 people didn't die in Haiti. You know.
The other option, thinking about it, is that it's connected to Mr. Sterling's son, and that someone really doesn't want us to find him.
Well, that's a question. Miss Sterling, Miss Lachlan, what did the crazy lady tell you about Jack?
She doesn't know that. She's never seen him, according to her.
She did say we've lost something important to us.
That was one of the cards.
Probably him.
You didn't ask about Jack?
And
no, we did.
No, we did. We described him, and
yeah.
No, she said she'd seen us with Guy. She also warned us against false prophets. Ironically enough, I suppose.
But did you say you were here looking for your missing brother?
No, there was a misunderstanding. She had noted that we had come with a young man before, and we thought she was talking about Jack, but she was talking about Guy.
Well, I don't know. Maybe, Mr. Sterling, you should go on your own visit to this Madame Marie and say, do you know where my son is? Because apparently that hasn't come up before. I also agree that we should talk to this Northeast guy. I just don't think we're going to find a university type at, 8-ish.
Well, and this Mambo, whatever this Mambo thing is. But I think that we need to go into it believing that we are actually being tricked.
The address you've got for Northeast, as you've got a map, does imply that it's actually a residential area. You've probably got his home address.
I was just going to say, if we are at any point standing and 6 people come towards us, they're probably the 6 people that are blowing some drug in our face.
Yeah, but we've never remembered being approached by 6 people.
Yeah,
as we had the drug. I think that we should immediately react if we think we're about to be drugged.
Oh, Neil, you make no sense. Look, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You are the experts, after all.
Well, here's the thing. You were running down the street, you think, covered in blood. I was meticulously oiling a firearm inside a hotel room, and we all suddenly were at dinner. My hotel room was locked. He was in the shower. I'm not sitting around next to an open door waiting for somebody to run up and blow powder in my face. And even if people blew powder in their face, why we all wake up at the same time? The thing is that this memory loss is linked between us, and that is what I cannot explain, and it makes me very concerned.
Agreed.
Surely this anthropologist would have information about the type of drugs that they would have access to. This is all local and
Well, unless it's something specially made by voodoo priests or something that they've.
She said he's an expert in voodoo, like in the voodoo, and that he's been for the last year, like infiltrated the community and all of that.
Well, then perhaps he's somebody that we should. I mean, I think that we should talk to him. I just think that we should be
cautious.
Okay.
I agree. We should be cautious.
We should all carry fans, and if somebody comes up and goes, we go blow it right back in their face.
Sure.
Well, should we pay a visit to this Northwest?
Northeast,
I
Dad.
think we should see Northeast first, just because that's his name.
On the
I
plus
agree.
side,
I think he's a logical next step.
Wake
on
him
the
up.
plus side, looking at the map. So again, bringing up the map of Haiti that you've got. You're up here in Bel Air.
Mhm.
Northeast is down here. Ironically,
Okay.
in the
At least it's
southeast.
closer to the hotel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's about a
the way
mile or
home.
so from the hotel, so it's kind of on your way back if you did want to go and see him.
Okay. Where's the newspaper? I'm sorry. I know you just put the map away.
Let me double check.
It's on the coast, right?
I think it's probably there. Yeah, it doesn't actually have a location for
Right,
it
okay.
on the map, but it seems to be the further west you get, the better the area is, up until you get to the docks.
Okay.
So yeah, it'd be west.
Well, if the newspaper's closer, how do people feel about that?
Is it
Or
going to
should
be
we-
open at this time of night? Or
Oh, yeah.
They put it on a morning
They're open
edition,
late.
so they work at night.
And they're doing bilingual, so that's more work.
All right. Well, let's map out a route and go there.
Okay, so you're heading to the newspaper first, and then heading to the anthropologist afterwards.
I think
Yes.
so.
Okay, in which case you hail a couple of cabs as you've done before. You wait a little bit longer, and the two that you've already ordered previously show back up again. You clamber on in, and you start heading west. And that is where we'll leave it for tonight.
Excellent.
Everybody wish Mick a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Nick.
Birthday, Mick. Happy 50th. Just think, in just 10 more of these, you'll be half a millennium old.
Something to look forward to.
Our players included Jason Melnichuk, Holly Buteau, David Gassaway, Mick Swan, John Dos Passos, and myself with Matthew Sanderson as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. There's a link below. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good game.